Our channel features stories from real life. Subscribe so you don't miss out.
My name is Michael Thompson. I'm 38 years old. I live in a quiet suburb just outside Chicago, where the streets are lined with tall trees, and on weekends you can hear the soft hum of lawnmowers and children playing in yards. I've been living here with my wife, Emily, for the past 8 years. We moved in shortly after we got married, newlyweds full of hope, optimism, and plans for the future. Emily was everything to me. We met at a tech conference in San Francisco. I was there for the software. She was there for the people. She worked in brand strategy and had a natural talent for understanding people, reading their body language, mirroring their tone. She was quick, insightful, and her laugh had a musical ring that stayed with you. I was quiet, analytical, maybe a bit reserved. Emily brought color into my world. She filled our home with warmth-framed pictures on the walls, scented candles I would never think to buy, cookbooks she only half followed, but turned into masterpieces nonetheless. We had rituals, Sunday pancakes, Friday night movies, coffee at 7:30 a.m. every weekday. Simple things, and I loved her for all of them. We often talked about children. Sometimes it was light-hearted jokes about baby names, arguments over cribs and strollers. Other times it felt more real. We were ready, or close to it. I remember her telling me one night over dinner, "I want a little girl with your eyes." I just smiled and said, "And your stubbornness." That was us, ordinary maybe, but happy. Or so I believed. Then the little changes started, a shift in her morning routine. She used to cuddle into me before getting up. Then she started leaving earlier, saying she had meetings or early calls. At first I believed her. Her job in branding sometimes meant strange hours, working with clients in Europe and on the East Coast. Then the phone. She took it everywhere, even to the bathroom. That had never happened before. Once, I walked past the bedroom and saw her quickly flip it face down when she noticed me. I said nothing, but a knot formed in my stomach. I tried to rationalize, told myself I was being paranoid. But after living with someone for nearly a decade, you know their rhythms. You feel their silence. Her kisses became lighter, her laughter shorter. When I touched her, she didn't lean in like before. The first time I voiced my concern, I did it gently. "Is everything okay with us?" I asked one night as we lay in bed. She looked at me, confused or pretending to be. "Of course. Why would you ask that? You've seemed distant lately." She smiled, kissed my cheek. "Work's just been intense." "I'm sorry, babe, really." And I wanted to believe her. God, I needed to believe her. But trust, once cracked, doesn't heal on its own. I started noticing more: long showers, new lingerie she never wore for me, and perfume subtle but different. Not the one I gave her on our anniversary. I didn't want to be that husband, the one who snoops. But I was slipping into that version of myself, one suspicion at a time. And then I bought the camera. The camera was simple motion detecting, Wi-Fi enabled, easy to set up and hide. I told myself it was for security. We'd had a few break-ins in the neighborhood recently, so it was a good excuse. But I knew the truth. I wasn't protecting our home from strangers. I was trying to see what was happening inside it. I placed the device discreetly on the bookshelf in our living room. It had a wide enough angle to catch the hallway, front door, and couch. I didn't mention it to Emily, and when I installed the app on my phone that let me watch the feed in real time, my hands trembled a little. The first week, nothing. Just her coming home, kicking off her shoes, scrolling through her phone. I hated how hopeful I felt, like I wanted to catch her, just to know. Certainty is a strange kind of comfort. Then the second Tuesday, I stayed late at the office. I was in a meeting when my phone buzzed. Motion-detected living room. I waited until I was alone to check. She came in, but she wasn't alone. A man followed her. He was confident, too confident, wearing a grey dress shirt, sleeves rolled up, hand brushing her waist as she set down her purse. They didn't talk like colleagues, didn't behave like friends. He leaned in. She smiled. Then they kissed. I didn't breathe for a minute, just stared at the screen, at that moment that split my life in two. Emily, my Emily, laughing, pulling him by the hand down the hallway into our bedroom. I closed the app, put down the phone, and sat silently. For moments like that, there's no instruction manual. No guide that tells you what to do when your reality crumbles like an earthquake. I wanted to scream, to hit, to call and demand explanations. But instead, I just sat still, like stillness could turn back time. That night, I didn't confront her. She came home late with a light smile, kissed me like everything was fine, said she'd been at business meetings downtown. I said nothing, smiled, went to sleep, and started watching. Night after night, they met. Not every day they were careful, but not careful enough. Sometimes for an hour, sometimes longer, and with every viewing, something inside me broke. I started keeping notes, marking times, saving videos, downloading archives from the app. I learned his name, Jason Whitmore. The investigation was easy. LinkedIn, Facebook, a few searches. He worked at a financial firm, around 45, loved triathlons, bourbon and hiking. Married, 2 kids. His wife's name was Lisa. And then something inside me shifted. The pain didn't subside, it turned. Became hard, sharp. If Emily was capable of cheating and Jason too, then the only justice was to make both of them understand the weight of what they'd done. Not just shame, not just exposure, consequences. It's strange how betrayal changes your perception of everything. I replayed years with Emily like a show that suddenly meant something else. Every smile, every delay, every business dinner was now stained with suspicion. But I didn't lose control. I watched, planned. I started tracking Jason not physically, but online. Learned his routines. His work address was easy. His Instagram was public. Lisa had a Pinterest full of family photos, interior design boards, and quotes about forgiveness and loyalty. The irony was exhausting. They lived in a nicer suburb, big yard, a black lab named Cooper. 2 boys around 7 and 9. Jason wasn't just cheating. He was risking a whole life, a real family. And Emily? She was risking us, our future, our child who hadn't been conceived yet. I began recording everything. I had hours now, Emily and Jason kissing, undressing, whispering as they moved from the hall to our bedroom. Sometimes laughing. Sometimes she cried. And I hated that the most that she would cry with him, as if she trusted him. The revenge started as a fantasy, then it became a strategy. I didn't want violence, didn't want drama. I wanted impact. Something silent but devastating, like cutting a support beam so the whole house falls without a sound. It started with a burner phone. I created a fake Gmail account. No name, no recovery. Then I drafted the first message to Lisa. Didn't send it yet. Wanted it perfect. Then one to Jason. You don't know me, but I know you. I know where you go Tuesday nights, and whose bed you sleep in when your wife thinks you're working late. I have everything on video. This is not a joke. This is your last chance to walk away before everything falls apart. I didn't send that either. Saved both. Waited. Wanted the pressure to build inside me, inside them. Wanted to be sure that when I acted, there would be no going back. Then I set motion alerts on my phone for home. It didn't take long. Another Thursday, another alert. I watched live as they walked through the door. Emily kicked off her shoes, the red ones I'd bought her for our anniversary. Jason loosened his tie, looked at home. They laughed. She poured wine. He put his hand on her thigh. She kissed his neck. That was the moment I pressed record. But not just to archive. Edited it down to 3 minutes. The kiss, the laugh, the moment she said, "And I'll never forget. I wish we didn't have to hide." I uploaded the file to anonymous cloud storage and saved the link. The next day, I scheduled 2 emails. One to Lisa Whitmore, one to Emily. No text, no comment. Subject line, "You deserve to know the truth." And the link. The emails went out at 7 p.m. on Friday. Why Friday? Because I figured Lisa would be home with the kids. Jason likely still at the office or pretending, Emily with me. I wanted to look her in the eyes as the world she built on lies began to crumble. 7 came and went. Emily was making pasta in the kitchen, humming softly like all was well. I watched her from across the room, my stomach hollow. I said nothing, just waited. At 7:06, she looked at her phone, stopped humming. Her face went pale. Her hand froze mid-air with the spoon. She blinked once, twice, then turned slowly and walked to the hallway without a word. I didn't follow. I heard the bedroom door close, then silence. 5 minutes later, her voice cracked from behind the door. "Michael," she called, barely audible. I didn't answer. She came out, eyes wide, phone shaking. "What is this?" she asked, as if she didn't already know. "You tell me," I said calmly. Tears filled her eyes. "You filmed me?" I nodded. "In my house, with my wife?" "Yes." She collapsed on the couch, hands covering her mouth. "I never meant for it to happen." "You never meant what to happen? The lies, the sex, the part where you looked at our wedding photo as you led him into our bed?" "Please," she whispered, "please don't do this. It's done." She looked at me then, and I think she finally understood. No salvaging this, no apologies, no second chances. That same night, Jason's life cracked open. Lisa didn't reply, not with words anyway. But next day, I found Jason sitting in his car outside our house, alone, nervous, sweating. He rang once. I opened the door. No words. He looked at me like a man who'd lost everything and was still falling. "She knows," he said. I said nothing. She took the kids and left. Still, I was silent. I didn't think it would go this far. I laughed, short and humorless. "You thought you could fuck someone's wife and keep your family too?" He opened his mouth, then closed it. No answer. "Do yourself a favor. Don't come back here. Don't call her. Don't try to fix this." "You sent it to her, to Lisa." "I did." His hands shook. "You destroyed everything." "No," I said calmly. "You did that." He turned and left without another word. Emily, for her part, tried. God, did she try. That week was a storm of tears, long letters, midnight conversations she begged for, but I was done listening. "You killed something I can't revive. I still love you." "No, Emily. You love who I was, not who I became when I knew." She moved out by the end of the month. I didn't fight her, didn't even ask for the house. I just wanted peace. Jason, from what I heard later, lost his job. Lisa filed for divorce. Their kids stayed with her. I never spoke to her again, but I imagine she looks at the man beside her each night with the question in her eyes. How long would he have lied if no one told me? Time passed. It didn't heal everything. Nothing ever really does, but it softened the sharp edges. The house was quieter now. I removed the camera. Deleted the footage. Deleted everything, really. The files, the burner account, the emails. I wanted no souvenirs of that chapter, just the silence of an empty home where I could finally think clearly again. People say forgiveness is the key to freedom. I don't know if that's true. I never forgave Emily, not fully, but I stopped being angry. That, in itself, was enough. Sometimes I catch myself wondering if I could have done anything differently. If I missed the signs earlier, if I worked too much, if I wasn't affectionate enough, if I let routine replace intimacy. But every time that voice creeps in, I remind myself, love doesn't give you a license to destroy someone who trusts you. And trust, real trust, isn't something you rebuild. It's something you protect. And once it's gone, the foundation collapses. Emily reached out a few times, months later. Not to get back together, I think even she knew that was impossible, but to talk, to process. To ask if I'd ever felt it, that emptiness she claimed drove her to look elsewhere. I didn't answer. I owed her nothing. One evening, almost a year after it all happened, I ran into Lisa at a grocery store. She was with her boys. They looked older now, taller. She looked tired but solid. Worn down, not broken. She saw me and hesitated, then nodded. Just once, no words. I nodded back. That moment stayed with me, not because it brought closure, but because it didn't need to. Sometimes the most human thing we can do is acknowledge the wreckage and keep walking. I rebuilt my life slowly. I traveled. I read. I learned how to be alone again. I went to therapy, though I never told them everything. Some pain you just sit with. You don't dissect it. You carry it until it teaches you how to let go. I started dating again, eventually, carefully, cautiously. Love became something quieter, less grand, more real. I didn't need fireworks. I needed someone who could sit across from me in silence and still feel like home. Do I miss her? Sometimes. The version of her I thought I knew, the warmth of her laugh, the way she curled up under my arm during thunderstorms, how she sang to herself while doing the dishes. I miss the life we never got to build, but I don't miss the lies, or the second guessing, or the way I started questioning my own instincts just to protect a love that had already died. They say betrayal changes you. They're right. It hardens you in some ways, softens you in others, makes you wary but also wiser. And now, when I think of those days, the emails, the footage, the confrontation, I don't feel regret. I feel relief. Because in the end, I wasn't the one who burned the bridge. I just made sure they couldn't walk back across it.